I now call on Bill Ong Hing, Professor of Law and Asian American Studies at the University of California in Davis.
Thank you, President Hanson, and thank you for being here as well, Congressman Lewis. I am a son of immigrants who were themselves undocumented immigrants. They came during another exclusionary time in the nation's history when Chinese were not welcome to our country, and they were forced to lie and to cheat to get their way into the country. They wanted a better life. They wanted to come and work, and I think that I have a responsibility to them to do the best that I can, and I know my siblings feel the same way. And it's remarkable the similarities that I find with the Mexican Americans that I grew up with in a small copper mining town in Arizona. Our families had similar values. Our families wanted the same, which is the best for their children. And it hurts me and it shames me as an American to see the treatment of new workers that are forced to lie and to cheat to come into the United States because of powers that are way beyond their control. Globalization, NAFTA, and other types of things that are happening that if Americans really understood what was happening, those people outside the door there would back off a little bit.
And I now call on Oscar Chacon, Executive Director of the National Association of Latino and Caribbean Communities in Chicago, Illinois. Oscar?
Thank you, President Hansen. I think that what we are doing in this commission and in these hearings is absolutely important, because one of the main reasons why so many people from Latin America and the Caribbean have come to the United States of America is because of our belief that this is a nation where values such as justice, equality, opportunity, compassion really matter. And in this respect, it is very saddening for our communities to see how in the last couple of decades and more so the last few years, the level of meanness that is being applied particularly to immigrant communities is extremely worrisome.
Congressman, we certainly thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be with us here today, and we really, really appreciate it. Congressman?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President, Chairman Hansen, members of the National Commission on ICE Misconduct and Violation of the 14th Amendment, and members of this distinguished panel. Welcome to Atlanta and the 5th Congressional District of Georgia. I must tell each and every one of you that I'm delighted to welcome you here. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank your great union. And thank every member of this panel, the commissioner, for all that you're doing. Thank you for getting what I call in the way. When I was growing up in rural Alabama many years ago, and we asked my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents about segregation and racial discrimination, when I saw those signs that said white men, white women, colored women, white weighted, colored weighted, they told me not to get in the way. Don't get in trouble. But sometime there come a time when people must get in the way and get in trouble, in good trouble. Stand up for basic human rights. It is true, and I'm leaving my prepared statement. Maybe I'll come back to it. It is right that a few short years ago, I did go on the immigrant freedom ride because I felt it was important to be identified with the immigrant workers in America, to welcome them to Washington, and to get on a bus and travel and hear the stories that people told me as we traveled to New York. And I felt it was important to be here today. And Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, I want to thank you for inviting me to be here. This is the best place to be. We all come from some place. It doesn't matter whether we're black or white, or Hispanic, or Asian American, or Native American. We're one people, we're one family, we're one house, and we all live in the same house. Some citizens of the United States now live in fear. I look forward to the benefit of your report when it's delivered to the halls of Congress. I will be there, standing up, speaking up, and speaking out. This is a historic time for you to be here. Give up. Don't give in. Keep your faith, keep pushing, and keep pulling. We're going to change things. Change is on the way. Thank you very much for being here.
I'd like to start off, Sam, if you would, with the first statement.
Good morning, Mr. Henson, President Henson. Thank you. Taxation and the provision of social services, especially to families and children. Then as now, I believe that comprehensive reform is required to preserve the rule of law, to protect the rights of immigrants, to protect uniform enforcement among and between the states, and to provide workers with due respect for the expanding economy. I have some specific, very contextual remarks that I'd like to provide in advance of three issues that I would like to raise for your consideration. First is that the context that we are in today is a byproduct of several things, and chief among them is the events of 9/11, which allowed extremist anti-immigrant organizations to exploit the fears of the American public related to terror, proffered nativist philosophy, and racial intolerance. Many of these organizations are violent and they are dangerous. While relatively small in numbers, these groups are well-funded and well-organized and have effectively utilized the internet in particular as a tool for spreading their messages of hate and intolerance while also recruiting sponsors, economic and volunteer. Number two was the rapid growth of the Hispanic immigrant workforce in rural, urban, and suburban communities, which provided clear examples and targets for these individuals. Number three was the predisposition of our own General Assembly and State House towards states' rights ideologies. Number four, the strategy worked, and it took the form of what was called Senate Bill 529, which is authored by Senator Chip Rogers of Woodstock, and this bill has become a template for e-slips in the United States. The presence of ICE in the court systems with directives to arrest and detain people on the spot is a major assault on the rule of law. We cannot have the rule of law unless we have safe and protective, deliberate spaces for the deliberation of what is going on. Frankly, I think it would be extremely difficult for law enforcement officials not to presume the guilt of a brown individual. How, after all, can they tell the difference between the dark brown skin of a college graduate who is a citizen and the dark brown skin of a construction worker who is undocumented? I cannot tell the difference. I do not tell the difference. They cannot tell the difference, but some try to.
What we also know is that local law enforcement have been affected by the mere existence of the program, so that they are making the decision to arrest when a citation in lieu of arrest is preferred by law. And what we have seen is that people are arrested for fishing without a license. This program was brought to town with the intent of identifying dangerous criminals in the community. But immigrant community members every day see their neighbors arrested for nothing more than fishing without a license, driving without a license, and are being deported. And the atmosphere of fear that has created has had a devastating impact in our community.